We're going to begin in the South Region. Now, I'll tell you what, here's my instant take from this. The committee got it right with Alabama being the number 1 overall seed. I thought the number 1 overall seed on this bracket, Alabama, also rightly got the easiest path to the Final Four. I really believe that. Even though Maryland and West Virginia are good teams, West Virginia offensively solid, not great defensively. And that's going to lead Alabama to be able to score easily on them. If it's Maryland, good defensive team, not a great perimeter shooting team. And Jameer Young has to do it all, but I just like Alabama there. Virginia and Baylor. Baylor was the 3, Virginia's the 4 here. Frankly, I think Baylor could get picked off by UC Santa Barbara. I think Virginia is susceptible against anybody because of their lack of offensive firepower at times. Mm-hmm. Arizona is a team, I want to trust them one day, and it's hard to trust them another day, even though they won the Pac-12 tournament. Granted, against a shorthanded UCLA. My take on it is this. Of the 4-1 seeds, Alabama got by far the easiest path. I really believe that. And I think that the Crimson Tide are going to the Final Four. Does somebody want to disagree with me and think of someone else who steps up and wins this region?
I'm with you. Baylor being a 3 seed, inconsistent Arizona, that's what the rewards you get for being the number 1 overall seed. They have a pretty easy path, but I'm going to be honest with you, John, Mac, Coach, I don't think it's going to be that simple, man. This has the makings of a wild March Madness. And, I don't think we're going to see how good Arizona is. They had to play UCLA. They beat them last night. But I'm interested to see them back kind of in the field. I like Arizona to give Alabama more of a challenge than people think they're going to do, man, if they get that far.
Yeah, I mean, I love Arizona. They've had their inconsistencies. I want to pick Arizona in this region. I really do. But Alabama, especially with everything they've been dealing with, I mean, they've been the most consistent team. I had Furman as kind of the Cinderella. I don't love the matchup in the first round for Furman against Virginia. I would have liked to have seen them get a better matchup in that first round. I'll never forget when I was at Chattanooga, we were in the 5-12 game, and a lot of people had us as the 5-12 upset, but we played Indiana, who had won the Big Ten that year. We played Indiana that won the Big Ten. Not sure that they deserved a 5 seed. Probably should have been seeded a little higher. So I don't love the matchup for Furman in the first round. Not saying they can't beat Virginia, but I don't love that. I'm anxious to see that Arizona Princeton game in the first round as well. I'm anxious to see that game, but I think with everything that Alabama's dealt with, to see the consistency that they've had, it's hard to not pick them to come out of this region.
Give me the College of Charleston over St.
That's what I'm just saying. Like, Fanta, you were there. You and Goodman. You guys were like hanging out in Charleston. How are you not picking them to make a run?
Well, I think they make a run. I think that they could make the Sweet 16. I really do. That's set up for a 12 or 13. If you are Charleston or Furman, you are sitting there saying, yes, it's possible. I mean, Furman's going to need Mike Bothwell. They're going to need Jalen Slauson, but they've got a veteran core of kids that can really score it. It's just sustaining. Against Virginia, you've got to be able to sustain, and you got to be able to generate some tempo if you're Furman. I like Charleston to potentially make the Sweet 16. Here's why. San Diego State still has the jitters. I like that team. I think they're a team. If they beat College of Charleston, I will say right now, the winner of San Diego State Charleston for me is going to the Sweet 16 because I still like Matt Bradley. I still like Nate Mensah. I like San Diego State defensively, but they're hard to trust. And sometimes demons live on in the NCAA tournament. Remember, guys, San Diego State should have beat Creighton, which ironically enough, Creighton is in this region. They're the 6th seed. If you're going to pick a team that's not in the top 4 in a region, is Creighton on their best day not a team that's capable of like a 3 or a 4 seed if they're at their best? They're interesting to me. That matchup with NC State, Coach, fascinating guard play. You want to talk about some shot makers.
Well, I think this too. Like, I look at that game and even the lower seeds, right? Furman, Charleston. I think if any of those teams win their first round game, I think they can get to the second weekend.
Yeah.
I really like. It's like almost like, can we get over the hump? We're not supposed to win this game. There may be some people that pick us to win this game, but we're not supposed to. And we do. Now, all of a sudden, like St. Peter's last year, like, oh, man, now we're here. Like, all right, let's go. Like, let's go on a run. Let's make some shots. Let's do this. Let's go on a run. I think for the lower seeds, the first round game is critical. And when you win it, you can catapult yourself into a run in the NCAA tournament. Like, you see it all the time, right? Yeah. Go back to when VCU made the Final Four. They were in the play-in game.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, you win and you get some momentum, and it's like, okay, we're here. We get a taste of this. Oh, now we believe. All right, let's go on a run. I think the lower seeds that can win in the first round, that's when you see a team make an unbelievable run. And I look at this region, and I see a Furman. And again, I think that's a tough matchup for them. But you see a Charleston. You see those two teams, right? Either one of them win that first round game, I would pick them both, one of them to be in the second weekend.
It's a good draw. Charleston got a good draw. Furman got a good draw. I mean, if I had to play a 4 seed with the style of play, a high major team, I'm going to probably pick Virginia because, as Duke did, if you can get a 6, 7, 8 point cushion on Virginia, not saying you're going to win the game, but you have a chance. Whereas like a team like Alabama or these teams that can really score and run it up on you, you're a couple threes away from being down 15. Virginia doesn't play the type of pace. So, Charleston needs to be sitting back and saying, this is our opportunity to validate this 30-win season. Maybe we feel like we're a little underseeded, and so hopefully they can prove us wrong.
That's a great point.
But do you see somebody taking down Alabama?
Man, Alabama wins in so many different ways. They can play a defensive grinded out game, and then they just get hot, like they did in the tournament, or they can run it up. They can run it up with you as well. So that style of play is going to be tough to beat. I think Quiverly coming into his own is a game changer. He steadied the boat towards the end of games. He makes big shots, big plays. I mean, he was the SEC player. They're going to be tough to beat.
Yeah. I think, and I'm probably stating the obvious here, I think the only team that could knock them off is Arizona, just because of the balance on offense. Yep. 5 guys average double figures. They are trending, winning 3 games in a row. You'd like to think that they're going up. Their front court's outstanding. Kerr is a favorite, especially on the field of 68, right? Everybody loves Kerr. So I think they're the only one. But again, they've got to handle their stuff. They've got to. I don't know, that second round game too. Whew. Could be Missouri. What Dennis Gates has done there. But I think Arizona is the only one talent-wise that can compete with them.
For sure.
So we've all got Alabama, I think. That's our pick here, from what I understand. We all have Alabama. It's Alabama's to lose in the South. It's Alabama's to lose in the South. There's no question about that. We'll see if somebody contests them and if they can get shocked. It looks like there's double-digit upset feeders here. Hey, underrated game in this region, Missouri, Utah State. Take the over.
Take the over.
Really fun offensive team.
As soon as possible, take the over.
Take the over right now.
Yeah,
that's our advice. Our advice. You could beat us and run your pool, but we will help you make some money. We'll help you make some money at Bet Rivers. Take the over in Missouri, Utah State. That does it for the South.